I think this is the one. All right. So digital marketing. I really hate that term because it's such a broad, what you would call a term. In my opinion, digital marketing is broken down into certain sections, and I'm going to get into that. And I feel like the way I prioritize digital marketing, it helps benefit local customers, whether you have a restaurant or you're an e-com store or a martial art gym or, you know, a gas station or a mechanic, a real estate agent, whatever industry that you're in, right? The priorities are kind of jumbled up, right? So I'm gonna be targeting local businesses, you know, anything that's relatable to either restaurants, because that is where I come from. A little bit about me is I grew up in the restaurant business. My father has a restaurant, and basically I took his restaurant and I was working there, flipping burgers, you know, manning the fryers and the grills and stuff like that. So basically, you know, I loved it and I hated it at the same time. I loved working there and talking to people, but I hated the hours that would go into it. So basically what I did was I took my father's restaurant, right, a small restaurant in Queens, in New York, and I took it online in 2008 or 10, right? And basically, once I took that restaurant online, you know, social media, website, the whole 9 yards, you know, and the results were amazing that I could stop flipping burgers and stop spending long hours, right? And just do what I did, like what I enjoyed from it, you know, talking to people and helping business grow for my father, right? And learn new tips and tricks and how to take a business online and then replicated that service for other businesses as well. And, you know, and the proof is in the pudding, as I always say, and I have a lot of pudding. All right. So our mission for this conversation, which is going to be about an hour long, right, is our primary objective would be to educate small to mid-sized business owners of the ecosystem of the internet and how to leverage the power of social media to increase objectives of the business. This seminar will shed light on how to use revolving and evolving wheels of digital marketing synchronously and harmoniously, right? In my opinion, the first thing you need is a website. And I'm going to refer a lot of stuff to a restaurant business because that's where I came in from. And that's what I can do, right? So what we are going to try to do is establish the foundation of your digital marketing, digital presence. Now, digital presence means anything that you have a digital footprint for, whether it's a website, whether it's a username to a social media platform or whatever digital presence that you have, right? That's the foundation, and we have to build upon that foundation, right? Because if your foundation is weak, you know, very cliche, but you know, your structure is gonna have to be stable, right? So, all right, the first thing I believe that needs to be done, right, is a website or a funnel, right? Now, there's a difference between websites and funnels, right? We're gonna get into that a little later on, right? The first thing, a website is crucial for a small business, right? Because that's basically the cashier, right? So you walk into a restaurant, right? You walk into a restaurant, right, or a bakery, or let's say a car shop or anything, right? Again, I'm gonna stick to the restaurants. The first thing you notice, right, is the pictures of the restaurant. And if you're a person who's visiting the restaurant, what is the first thing that you do? You go online. Oh, I'm looking for this restaurant, a Mateo's restaurant or pizzeria or whatever. That's the first thing you do as a consumer, right? As a consumer, you're going in and checking their how far it is from you, if it's in your budget, and if the reviews are great. And usually you check the reviews first, right? Check the price second, and then you check, okay, is it far, is it close, is it, you know, good. Is it reachable for me? So those are the three aspects of when you're going into as a vendor. I mean, as a consumer. Now, as a vendor, right, you want to attract those places. So the first thing you need to do is have good reviews, all right? Good reviews, price budget, and obviously, you know, location, right? In business. So a website is the cashier of the business, right? You need to make it's the cash register, right? You are sending people, your local business, right, to a place where they can make a transaction, right? Is basically give you money, right? That needs to be set up first. That's the kitchen, right? You cannot have the front cashiers running around if you don't have a kitchen, right? You need to serve the people, right? So a website is fundamental, right? If you do not have, you can have all the social media in the world, right? But, or digital presences, and you're doing all outreaching, but if you do not have a place where you can monetize that traffic, it doesn't make sense at all, right? So I'm gonna break these down, right? There's 5 different platforms, or maybe more, a lot more, right? And I'm going to remove the stigma behind them, right? So the first thing is websites. There's a couple of them. I personally prefer WordPress, right? You could go to, I'm hoping you guys can see it. Nick, can you see my screen and everything? You're sure I'm sharing good? Nisha, what about you? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right. Okay, WordPress is, okay, before, let's back up a little bit, right? And I'm going to target the total newbie, okay? The total newbie that does not have a website, that does not know anything about this, right? And I'm gonna target you, right? So the first thing you need to do is website. Now, a lot of people, I was trying to help somebody out yesterday, they said, oh, they bought a domain, but they didn't think they needed hosting. Domain name and hosting are 2 different things. You need both of them. Domain names are cheap. They're like $15 for the whole year, and you pay a yearly basis on that. And then a hosting can get not too expensive, but expensive as in like $100 for the year, right? So basically that's what you want to do. You want to go to GoDaddy.com or HostGator, pick up a domain, whatever it is. This is this is the guy that I was helping out yesterday, cell phone bay. Right, he took it already yesterday. He bought it, and I'm helping this customer out, client out, right? Basically, he bought the website from GoDaddy, right? And he bought hosting from Bluehost. You need these 2 things, right? Bluehost, right? You want to go for the $5.95 package, right? It'll get you up and running. If you have any questions, you could always ask me about that. But these 2 things that you definitely do need for a website. Now, once you have the domain name, right? WordPress, what I like about WordPress, I'm going to show you something. Hold on. I know I'm skipping scenes. I don't want to go like by the book and so website is definitely essential, right? You want to click a domain name, buy a domain name, and I'm going to give you an example right here. This is the restaurant of my father's that we were working on, right? This is the website. Okay, so the name is basically, that's where you're gonna buy your name, right? GoDaddy, HostGator, any of the, or Google Domains. That's the best place that it's like $12, you get a name, right? And to attach a name to hosting, basically when you come to this, you're buying right now, when you go to a HostGator or GoDaddy, you're just buying the name. And then you add hosting. hosting is going to be, used in conjunction with the name. So basically when somebody types in their name, right, what's displayed is going to be your hosting, right? So we use WordPress. WordPress, right? WordPress, what I love about WordPress is that it gives you functionality. Let me go back to my, second. Let me go back to my slides so I could stay on course. All right. WordPress. At its core, WordPress is the simplest, most popular way to create your own website or blog, right? In fact, WordPress powers over 34% of all websites on the internet. And basically, yeah, WordPress, it's probably more than 34% now, right? Because this presentation was made about half a year ago, right? Anyways, why WordPress is usually moves on WordPress is one of those things where a newbie can get it, right? If they put in some time and effort, right? And it's very I wouldn't say user friendly, but it's very user customizable. So you could put stuff where you want it to be, and you could take out stuff where you don't want it to be, right? That is the only major reason why I love WordPress. Plus, not only that, it's free, right? So there's no monthly recurring charges, right? So you buy the domain, you buy the hosting, right? And that's going to cost you $120, and you have a website up and running, right? If you know how to use WordPress, right? And hopefully in the next later on webinar, right, I am going to go through WordPress, building out your first website through WordPress. Okay, so the characteristics of a WordPress: it's free, simple, and easy hosting. Like I said, you just need your domain name, right? You need your Bluehost, and you'll be good to go. Another thing is that it's optimized for search engines. Basically, your SEO. We'll get into that, right? Again, like I said, I'm putting it in orders for like either an e-com store or a physical location, right? So it's optimized for search engines. But basically what that means is if people are looking for your keywords, let's say, what you would call it, jiu-jitsu martial artist gym around me, right? You would pop up if you're around that area. So, or, I want to learn, the best chicken tandoori in the world. That's a keyword. Chicken tandoori, right? Is a keyword, right? So that's, once you put in those keywords, WordPress is one of those things that'll pop up right away because it's very easy to target those keywords, right? It's very easy to maintain and update, right? You could do it yourself, right? Or you have somebody else maintain it for you, which is not that hard. You probably need maintenance every 3 months, nothing too crazy, and tons of beautiful design options, right? So like I said, if anybody wants to shoot me a website, I like to make this interactive as possible, right? So it'll be a live website where we could do some interactions, right? So again, I'm going to show you, we have this little tool called What's CMS, right? And it's going to tell you what content management system they're using, right? So see, we're using WordPress. If I put confidence is high, right? And I'm going to go to a known Shopify store, right? And I'm going to get into Shopify next because everybody talking about Shopify. I don't know any Shopify stores off the top of my head, but let's say. Anyways, we'll get to that. We'll get to Shopify when we get to Shopify. So, right, flexibility and customization, right? Support blogs, easily connects to social media. So basically, anything you can share, right, through WordPress, through your channels, right? Another great thing about it is that the analytics and tracking, right? It probably got cut off over there. Open the Google Slides to see if that works. Oh, yeah, okay, I skipped this one. Okay, like I said, I was skipping feed. Okay, WordPress really can't be beat as an all-around website building tool. Most of the world agrees. More than 74 million websites on the internet are built in WordPress, making it by far the most popular content management system available to anybody. Okay, so you basically even CNN, you know, New York Times, eBay, Bloomberg, they all use WordPress, right? So WordPress is the stuff. Shopify is another one, right? Shopify is amazing for a person who does not want to get too technical, who does not want to basically sit there and want to figure out how to, you know, change the font of one thing to another, right? Shopify is very user-friendly, but doesn't mean that it's customizable, right? It does come with an expense. So Shopify, they have a recurring monthly subscription where you could purchase it from $29 a month. I think it's $19 a month or $29 a month or whatever it is. All right, we'll find it right now. Shopify.com, right? Pricing. Let's go to pricing right here. Yeah, so $29 a month, $79 a month, and $2.99 a month, right? So basically, $29 a month you're paying, right? You could get basically everything that it's listed here, right? But you're paying $29 a month for it versus WordPress, which it requires a little more work effort, right? And what you can call it, but it's much more customizable. You have a lot more things you can do with it, right? So let's keep this going. So Shopify, everything is there, right? Okay. Shopify, a complete commerce platform that lets you start, grow, and manage a business. And it helps to create, customize an online store and lets you sell in multiple places, including web, mobile, social media, online marketplaces, brick and mortar location, and pop-up shops. Manage. The one thing I do like about Shopify is that they have a very good flow of payment. So once you could show your product, right? And basically they could pay right away. I mean, even with WordPress, but you know, Shopify just makes it very, very easy for the person, for the end user, right? Would be you guys. Now, I don't know about you guys. I don't know if you are digital marketers or are you just like mom and pop shops, right? Local mom and pop shops, or what you're trying to achieve or your goal is, right? You know, Shopify does a lot. Sometimes it outperforms in WordPress, and 90% of the time WordPress outperforms Shopify if you know how to use it. Then there's something called HTML, right? So these are, again, just to recap, these are the 4 or 5 platforms to make and build a website, okay? Because that is most essential and key in digital marketing. You need a website. You need a place where people can make a transaction, you know, to hand you money, right? So this is very essential. That's the foundation. That's what we're trying to do, right? So Shopify, like I said, okay. The third one is something called HTML. HTML, you, me, a lot of people don't know how to do all this stuff, right? So basically they write code, right? Tedious code that basically is designed to look like this, right? And they use text to make it look like this. So they're using code to make a website look like this, right? It's very intense. It could get very expensive, right? I mean, you know, in the beginning, right? If you're a small startup or mom and pop shop, you do not need to go this route, right? Once you have scaled up, you can go this route if needed be, right? But Shopify and WordPress would be your best, cheapest alternatives, right? Going back, okay. Etsy is another one. Etsy is a very common, very up and coming e-commerce website, basically just like Shopify, kind of like Shopify, but they are more targeted to the artist in you. What I mean by that is it gets very artsy. You have a lot of people, you know, promoting t-shirt design. They're doing, you know, knickknacks and crafts and arts and crafts. Basically, it's more targeted to the artsy folk, right? Like basically exactly. So these items were like jewelry, bags, clothing, home decor, furniture, toys, art, as well as craft supplies and tools, right? Let's just go to Etsy. And I definitely pulled up the wrong slide, right? Again, right? So what they're trying to do is they're trying to appeal to people who are in the fashion or art or industry. It's relatively good. I don't personally use it because it doesn't fit my audience or needs or my clients. So, but we can work with it if we needed to. And this is not my latest, because we definitely did some changes. Oops, let me check this one. I'm sorry. All right. I'm just trying to find my other slide. Just close all that out. Okay, here we go. This is it. Yeah, this is the, okay, Wix. Wix is another one. Wix makes it, Wix is another alternative to WordPress. So WordPress and Wix are like direct competitors, right? So Wix is one of those platforms where you could use, a lot of people use it. Some people like it. And again, you know, to each their own. I personally love using WordPress. Wix makes it very, it's also another very user-friendly interface, right? Create stunning, powerful, interactive website for any project, right? It has a lot of templates. Templates is are basically like skeleton bones of a website where you can just buy a template and put your information where they need to be, right? It's very useful. There's a lot of free templates out there, free shopping, especially on WordPress. Again, I'm talking about WordPress because, you know, diehard fan over here of WordPress. Right, Wix is, let's see Wix's website so you can get a pricing structure on there. It's free website builder, but it's usually not free, right? Let's see, subscriptions, right? So let's see. All right, so we got $17, okay, $13 a month, $17 a month, $22 a month, $39 a month. Again, it's a subscription-based model, right? You basically see you restricted 30 minutes of video over here. You could remove the Wix ads. Again, right, WordPress, you could do all of this stuff for a lot cheaper, a lot faster, and a lot better. Okay, that's why I do not use these platforms unless a client really wants it, right? And I try to stay away from them because we could do a better job with WordPress, right? And this is going to be the most important picture that you're going to see here today, right? This is called the digital marketing funnel, right? Once you have your website up and running, right? Now, the hardest thing is to do is getting those eyes onto your website. And once those eyes do come to your website, right, what are they getting from coming to your website? So, right, the first thing you want to do is create an exposure, right? You're creating exposure to your product or service, right? So boom, it flashes on their screen. Hi, I'm here. I'm promoting this chicken sandwich, right? Whatchamacallit, and that's what you're doing. Oh, we have a chicken sandwich, or we have, you know, the best gym in the world, right? And you're gaining their attention, right? Then you market to their discovery, which basically means, right? Oh, I'm hungry now. I think I should have a chicken sandwich. So they're trying to discover you now, right? Once they discover you, I mean, I'm kind of like exaggerating all this stuff, but you know, it's these are all like instantaneous things that happen, right, throughout the buying process, right? So they're going through exposure, they're going through discovery, then they're considering, hey, listen, are you, you know, are your reviews good? Are you budget friendly? Are you physically okay for me to, you know, give you my money, right? Once that consideration happens, then it's something magical happens, where it's called a conversion, where they decide that your chicken sandwich, or your gym membership, or your mechanic shop, or your product or service is worth me, you know, trading my hard-earned money for that product or service, right? And once that conversion happens, you automatically establish something called a relationship, right? Now, you know, obviously, once they convert over from a visitor to a buyer, right? You want to create a relationship where they could be like, hey, listen, next time they come around, they're definitely going to come in, say what's up. Now, how do you do? Once that conversion happens, right? There's a couple of moments after the conversion happens, after they hand you the money, right? They're going to sit down and eat the food, right? That food has to live up to its name. That food has to do that. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the relationship. So what happens is, once that relationship process goes on, it becomes advocacy. It's basically, I'm advocating. I am going to tell my friends about this business, right? Is because I love the food so much, or I had such a great experience at this gym membership, or you know, or this product was freaking phenomenal, right? Whatever it was, right? That becomes advocacy. So this is something called the marketing funnel, right? You're leading these people down a flow chart, right, to becoming an ongoing member, right? After this, we're going to step into the social media realm, right? Social media is very key. It's important, just as important, right, um, as your website, because the social media is going to be your showcase. The showcase where you walk into a bakery and you see all those cakes, right, or all those pizza pies that makes your mouth salivate, right? That, oh, I need to eat this, or I need to get this, or the new iPhone that's out there, right? That is your showcase. Your social media platforms are your showcase, right? You have to make them want your product, need your product, and ultimately buy your product, right? So that is the social media, right? Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, the new TikTok, Quora, there are Reddit. There's so many different. There's about 500, hundreds of thousands. I don't know, hundreds, maybe thousands of social media platforms that you can go on and subscribe and basically gain traffic, right? You want those eyes coming to your website. I mean, to your cashier, right? So basically, you're going to showcase or highlight your product or services, right, on social media, so you can again, go back up here, let me show you, right? So you want to showcase your product or service to gain exposure, show them, hey, listen, you know, you have to try me, you know, consideration. Okay, they realize that they need you, or you need that, you know, they need your product or service, and then ultimately you want them to convert, and then you want to provide a phenomenal experience for them to create a relationship, right? And basically you want to keep that going, right? And I'm going to throw some stats out there for you. 1.59 billion people are on average logged onto Facebook daily and considered daily active users. And that probably number jumped also because this was done 7/24/19, right? Instagram, right? Statistics for 2019, 1 billion monthly active Instagram users, okay? That was as of March 29th. LinkedIn also coming up strong, right? LinkedIn is coming in strong with 575 plus million users. Twitter uses 321 million users. Pinterest, oh my God, I love Pinterest. You have no idea how much I love Pinterest, right? 250 million people use Pinterest every day. Pinterest is a gold mine right here. If you know how to use it, it's a gold mine, right? YouTube also another gold mine. YouTube is just a lot more strategic, a lot more commitment involved, right? But once you have a great YouTube establishment or YouTube presence, right, you would not work more than whatever you're putting on YouTube, right? TikTok is another golden opportunity right now. It just came out not too long ago. Gary Vee gave it a shout out, you know, and then it blasted numbers through the roof. The only reason why, because it's like, if you have not been on TikTok yet, right, or you've been dabbling in it, it's just like Instagram but more video focused, right? And it has a higher organic reach. So basically, you wouldn't have to pay for ads or pay for exposure. Again, going back to the, I wish I could show you my hands, but going back to the exposure, right? It's basically what you want is TikTok enables you to get that exposure for free because it's a brand new marketing platform, and now they're trying to monetize it as time goes on. I personally love Facebook, right? A lot of you guys are in here because of WhatsApp. WhatsApp is another you know, social media platform. We might not call it that, but you know, we might just call it a chat, whatever it is, but it is a social media platform because there are so people gathering there and becoming social virtually, right? So it's a social media platform. Facebook is still my number one favorite social media platform because it gives me it helps me reach my audience and my target people that I can help, right? And that's why I love Facebook. You know, that's one of the reasons why I like Facebook. Facebook still has, like, it's still reigning social media sites. It has the most users, most active users, most shared stuff, right? And basically, if you do not have a Facebook, right, who are you really, right? How do you grow on Facebook, right? Right, Facebook, right, you have to create, again, it depends on your business, right? You definitely, if you have any kind of business, whether it's whether you're cooking at home or you're doing meal preps or you're a travel agency, work at home travel agency, it doesn't matter what you do. You definitely need a Facebook business page, right? If it, you know, you could just go right here. I'm going to show you real quick. Facebook, go to create right up here. And you're going to create page, right? Once you create the page, and in another webinar, I'm actually going to go show how to create a business page, what to do, how to do it, and why you should do it, right? Next thing is Facebook ads. Okay, Facebook ads is one of those things that can create a lot of exposure for you and very fast, because you're paying you're paying to get your advertisement in front of those people that you're trying to reach. This is a very in-depth and in-detailed course that we could dabble on. I'm just going to dabble on it a little bit, right? But if you are boosting, if you ever seen one of these things where do you want to boost your thing, yes, you can do it. It'll create automatic exposure or automatic awareness of your brand or your business to your locale, right? But it's not targeted, meaning it'll be just go across the board. If you want to hit, let's say, a 3-mile radius for your restaurant, because that's your delivery terms, right? What you would call it, that 3-mile radius, there's going to be like, let's say, for example, 50,000 people, right? 50,000 people, and you pay Facebook ads for a 3-mile radius, you're going to hit every single one of those people that's on Facebook within the 3 miles, right? So, and then Facebook has this algorithm that you pay, you know, $50 or $100, right? And it's going to go from there. So what you're trying to do is Facebook ads is a great, Facebook and Instagram ads is a great way to promote your business, only if you know who you're targeting, right? And it comes very handy. The more you know about it, it's called something called audiences, right? Facebook, you see how facebook.com, right? And if they ask you for boosting a page or boosting something, right? Yeah, it's a quick way to burn money, right? But you will get exposure. You might get a couple sales, depending on what your business is, right? But again, you have to, you know, in the long run, check it out. Okay, so this Facebook has this thing, right? It's called Facebook Ads Manager. Okay, so you create an ad. This is how you're really supposed to create an ad. You're not supposed to boost an ad, right? See, now it's gonna ask you all these things, right? This is the way you're supposed to. I forgot what the word. There you go. All right, so this is what you call a business manager, right? Is basically you have multiple different businesses, right? And this is the one that I use. Boom. All right, I'm not trying to. This is Facebook ads. If you're boosting anything and if you do not see this page, right, you're probably burning money, right? Because this is what you need to be. You need to be on the back end of Facebook, right? And I could go into that in much more in detail later. Okay. Moving on. LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn is amazing also. A lot of manual outreach, right? Right. So basically, if you're a product owner or if you're selling a product or service, let's say you are doing you're in the construction business, right? You're in the construction business, right? You're on LinkedIn. Again, this applies to every platform, right? Reddit, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. You have to provide value. Just like I'm trying to provide value for you guys today by teaching you what I can about this stuff. This is what's important. You need to provide value because internet is one of those places where everybody's trying to sell you something. Everybody's trying to sell you something, but nobody's trying to buy it. Or everybody's trying to buy something, but not what you're trying to sell them, right? And that's what you want to do. You want to provide people value so they can know you, they can trust you, and they can like you, right? So that's exactly what I'm trying to do over here today, you know, and unshamefully, that's what I'm trying to do is I want you guys to know me, trust me, and like me. And whenever I do promote a product or a service, right, you would take it into consideration. That's all it is, right? We're creating relationships. How to grow on LinkedIn, all right? You want to be active as much as you can on all social media platforms, whether it be Facebook, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your Twitter, your Pinterest, your Reddit, your YouTube or any one of those platforms, you just want to be as active as possible. You want to provide value. If somebody asks a question that you know the answer to, let's say somebody asks you, hey, how many pounds of flour goes in a pound cake, right? And if you know the answer, 1 pound of flour, 1 pound of, sugar, 1 pound of milk, or whatever it is, 1 pound, that's the ratio. You want to tell people that. And they'd be like, hey, I know the answer. You might, and there's some, internet being the internet. Some people are like, oh, well, thanks, but that's what you want to do. You want to provide people information, value, where they could be like, okay, you know what? This guy's listening. This guy's talking. This guy knows what he's talking about. And, I could trust him, and then, hopefully, relationship will grow. And then, you want them to basically convert, right? Going back to that most important picture of the day, right? Okay, right? So how to grow on LinkedIn. This is going to apply to all platforms across the board. Update your statuses, add to your blog posts, share presentations, tweet more, post more. Viral content is a very good way to get engagement, right? You want people to be engaged in your group, or in your post, in your memes, whatever it is. You want people to be engaged, because these algorithms are meant to bury you. Okay, so if you stay inactive on any of these platforms for maybe 5 to 7, 10 days, right, you'll notice that it's harder for, like, once you put out a post, right, it'll be harder for you to get that same traction, because these algorithms are meant to bury you. And the more active you are, the more you'll, swim to the top, right? Instagram. Let's go to Instagram. Instagram is, I have a love and hate relationship with Instagram, right? I do not use it as much as I'm supposed to, right? It's just that, I have some issues with them, right? It's a great marketing tool, and once Facebook bought them over, I just felt like it went to the crapper. That's my personal opinion. Before it was amazing, and now there's and people can fight me till they're blue in the face, telling me how Instagram is the best. And I wouldn't disagree with them. I just agree to disagree. How to grow on Instagram. Switch to a business profile ASAP. Okay, once you switch over to a business profile, right? If you do not have a business profile, you cannot see your analytics, and numbers are key in digital marketing. You want to see the numbers. How many people are clicking where? How many people? How long were they there for? What they saw, what they didn't like, what they clicked, what they didn't click, and how can you make it better, right? Use free Instagram tools, okay? Instagram, again, that's why one of the reasons why I don't like them, right, is that they put a lot of restrictions on their tools. You can't do automated posting sometimes. Then you have to use third-party services just to get your Instagram posted and stuff like that. But one thing I do really like about Instagram, which gets a great amount of traction, is their Instagram stories. You want to be as active on Instagram as possible with your stories, because people are sitting there going swipe, swipe, click, click. They see those 15-second videos, right? And they keep it moving, right? So I would sit there, like, wake up in the morning or whatever after, and I would just literally go to my Instagram stories, not interact with Instagram all day, but I would go through all those stories. That's a personal fault of mine. And if it's a personal fault of mine, it's like probably many people are on the same boat as me, right? So Instagram stories, Facebook stories. Instagram stories blew up so big that Facebook incorporated it, and it blew up so big that YouTube is now doing stories. Every Snapchat, that's another. They revolutionize and they evolve, right? So stories is a new evolution in the marketing world, right? Hashtags are crazy. There's a lot of, there's no right amount of hashtags you can use. There's no wrong amount of hashtags you can use. But I will tell you one thing, is that keep it relevant to your post. keep it definitely relevant to your post. If you are, you know, if you're a if you're wearing Nike shoes on, or Yeezys, or, you know, Dolce Gabbana, whatever you're doing, at least shout out that thing that you're doing. If you're at a restaurant, you know, you eat their food, you take a picture of their food, at least that should be your hashtag. You find out what their hashtag is and make it relevant to your post, you know. That's the thing. I like to keep it very minimal because I think less is more nowadays, right? So I keep my hashtags to maybe like 5, 7. Everybody has their different methods. I feel like Instagram, if you're allowed 20 and you put all 20, you know, you just, it's like a Instagram way of spamming, right? Twitter. Let's move on to Twitter. Twitter is another great tool. The president uses it every freaking day, right? He's always on it, and there's a reason why he's on it, because they're basically just to get your thoughts out, targeted to your people. You know, a lot of influencers, or, you know, speakers and stuff like that, they try to use Twitter more. But it's another great way, okay, to, you know, stay relevant in the digital marketing space. How to go on Twitter. Twitter as a research tool, right? Use yeah, basically, you know, again, same thing. Create character in your brand, your own media outlet. Basically, you could send out your own stuff over there, and right. Pinterest is amazing. One of my favorite underrated platforms ever, right? Pinterest is one of those platforms that I basically find all my inspiration from. Okay, so if I'm looking for basically an idea for a restaurant, I could just go to Pinterest and I look up restaurant ideas, and it's just going to give me bunches of stuff on restaurants and what I could use. And then I take that inspiration and I market it for my clients, right? Basically, it helps them grow, because I'm just showing them, right, replicating, or curating, I should say, curating other people's ideas and thoughts, right? And using that as my own views. All right, how to grow on Pinterest, right? Pinterest is amazing for something called infographics. So let me show you what an infograph looks like. So if you have not seen one, you probably have. Infographics are phenomenal, right? So this is basically, okay, so basically infographics are like cartoonish characters that gives you Facebook marketing, okay, do's and don'ts, right? Let me minimize this. Okay, see, look, this is an infograph. It tells you the do's and don'ts. There you go. All right, keep it short. Less words, get more. I was just saying this, right? Less is more these days for me, you know? Post frequently, I said that too, right? Keep as much, be as active as possible. Be genuine, be real, you know? Don't do this. Don't always sell, right? You got to provide 80% content, 20% product. Meaning, like, if you have a product and there's a competitor out there, don't be like, oh, my product is cheaper than this product. Tell them why it's better, you know? And if you write an article or a program regarding how your product is better than the competitors, right? You're not only informing them of your product, you're giving them value, and then, you know, you're trying to persuade them to buy from you, you know, instead of just being like, here's $5 off your next purchase, or here's $20 off your next purchase, whatever it is, you know. Instead of just throwing that out to them, right, you're actually telling them why. And then you could charge them. You don't have to give them a $5 discount. You know what I mean? It all depends on how you go about it, right? And every business is different. You know, we try to correlate as much as we can between businesses, but every business is different. So we would have to sit down and, you know, analyze what is the best route for your product or service. All right, moving on. Okay. Now, this right here is amazing, right? This is called email marketing, okay? So what happens is basically once you get them, right, to showcase your product, right? Once you showcase your product, you created that interest, and they finally did convert over. These people that are coming to your business, right? They saw you, they found you, they considered you, and they bought from you. Now, once they buy from you, right, they become your customer. Once they become your customer, you can ask them for an email address or a phone number or an address or anything, any other contact information, right? And this is where email marketing, SMS marketing, what is it called? Direct mail, or direct mail, DDM, or every direct door mailbox or something, door and mailbox. So once they have converted over to your client or your business or your customer, right, you can ask them for your email address, right? And then you could email them every so often, right? You could email them every, let's say you have running a special every, okay, again, going back to the restaurants, right? Super Bowl's coming up, right? The big game is coming up on February 2nd, Sunday, right? Next week. So we have just ran an email marketing campaign, right, for the restaurant, telling them that we are running a special for the big game, right? So you're going to get now anybody that actually opted in, and what I mean by opted is basically once anybody who gave you their email information, right, and gave you the permission to email them, you're going to email them saying, hey, listen, this is so-and-so restaurant, we're having a Super Bowl special, here's our special. Or you're a mechanic, right? So or somebody came in for an oil change, right? And you automatically know that they got an oil change, synthetic oil. So he's not due for another oil change in 5,000 miles, right? And he's driving about, let's say the average is about 1,000 miles a month, right? So to email that person, because Jiffy Lube does it, right? They email you. Jiffy Lube will email you if you get an oil change from them, right? They will email you approximately the time it is for your next oil change. You'll get another, you have, I think Kobe Bryant just died. What? Hold on, give me a second. Yeah, so basically, no, crap, I just lost my train of thought. Where was I? Yeah, so basically what happens is basically you're converting them over, and you're telling them, yeah, so Jiffy Lube, basically they email you every time your next oil change is up, is due, all right? And you're gonna get an email from them. So that considers it, they remember, or they like to show you that they remember that you're a customer of theirs, and then they want you to come back because they're looking out for you, and then telling you, hey, listen, before your next oil change, make sure hey, your oil change is due. Why don't you come in for an oil change, right? And the best thing about email marketing, what nobody ever is going to tell you, is that this is your list, okay? This is your list. The money is in the list, basically. And what happens is basically what you want to do is create your own customer list, okay? Because again, not a lot of people realize this, but all the social media platforms, they're not yours. Your Facebook is not yours. Instagram is not yours. Instagram can come down and shut you down tomorrow, right? And if you're making thousands upon hundreds of thousands of dollars on social media, on Facebook, and one day Mark Zuckerberg wakes up and he says, you know what? This guy's making too much money. Just shut him down. And they shut you down. And once you get shut down, all those Facebook friends that you have would be practically nearly impossible to get back, right? So what happens at an email list is your list. Nobody can take it away from you. It's yours, okay? All right, so let's go through the advantages of email marketing. Email marketing is popular with companies for several reasons. Email marketing is significantly cheaper and faster than traditional mail. Okay, that's mainly because with email, most of the cost falls on the recipient. Okay, businesses and organizations who send a high volume of emails can use something called an ESP, which is an email service provider, right, to gather information about the behavior of recipients, right, and that is the advantages of almost half of American internet users check or send email on a typical day, with emails delivered between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. local time, outperforming those sent other times in open click rates. Okay. Email is another amazing, another form of marketing, okay? What happens is that now, again, all depending on what kind of business you have, there's something called an email sequence, right? So basically what we're gonna do is, so let's say, okay, so there's different kinds of sequences and it depends on your website setup also, right? So this is the priority that I am going in, right? Is that you need your, just to recap, just so we can stay on point over here, right? Is the first thing you need is the website, right? Utmost importance. Website is a must. Second thing you definitely need is your social media platforms. The more the merrier, okay? The more the merrier. If you're on only 4 or 5, get on 10, 20, right? Get on any platform that you think can, that you can be on and it can be advantageous to you. Now, once you have the website up, once you have the social media platform there, right? Now the customer comes to your website. The customer comes to your Facebook page, sees that, oh, wow, you're having a product or service that they like. So they click that. That's the showcase. They go to your website. Once they go to your website, they learn more about you and who you are, what kind of company you are. Do you fit their roles? Okay, now you have this product, right, or service. Now they decide that they want to buy from you. They bought from you, okay? Going back to Jiffy Lube. Now I went to Jiffy Lube. I got my oil change, right? 5 months later, I'm due for another oil change. I got an email, right? Now that's called an email sequence, right? It's basically when an email sequence is triggered, based emails are sent in actions as browsing behavior, subscribing to your list, shopping cart abandonment, reading or downloading content, buying a product, or 30 days after purchase, a time-based, this is 5 months, right, would be a time-based email sequence, sometimes called an email autoresponder. Sends in emails at predetermined time intervals, like right after they buy, you can send it, oh, thank you for purchasing this. You've seen it, Amazon gives it to you, Best Buy does it, every single big business does it, okay? So you've seen them all, you've seen them all, but you just have to implement them, okay? That's the ultimate goal. And in digital marketing, right, you have to replicate success. Okay, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to replicate success. If you see something that's working for one of your competitors, go ahead. I wouldn't say copy it word for word, but replicate it and curate it. Curating and creating are two different things. Creation is basically building it up from scratch, and curation is like it's like innovating, taking something that already exists, making it better, right, and going from there, right? So make it your own. So Jiffy Lube would send you an email after 5 months for an oil change, right? There are 5 most important types of email sequences. Are the welcome email sequence, right? Basically, this is for more advanced users, okay? So once you have the website up and running and you have your platforms up and going, and now you're flowing the traffic, right? Once you flow the traffic, now what you want to do is it's just like, asking your customer or client, how they're doing every so often, you know, and just tell them, hey, listen, I'm doing good. How are you doing? Right? And like, how are you doing? I'm doing good. This is what I'm up to, right? So that's what you're trying to do, is keeping them updated on your product, on your business. You have a new thing coming up, you have a new launch coming up, you have a new product coming up, or you added a new service to your thing, or any of those things that you want to help promote to your list, right? So welcome emails have like 4 to 6 emails, tells you what to email. Onboarding email sequence is basically, hey, if you have a subscription-based model, right? So hey, try a free trial, or buy a product, use a product, or book an appointment, right? Abandoned cart email sequences is another email sequence. Basically, this is, you've all seen this, right? You go to visit eBay right now, go right now on ebay.com, right? Check out something that that you want. You don't even have to just click anything, right? And 15-20 minutes later, you're going to get an email in your box saying, oh, are you still interested in this product? That's an abandoned cart email sequence, okay? An email sequence for repeat customers. Returns customers usually spend 120% more. A lot of times, right, right, it costs much more money to get a new customer into the doors, right, versus a customer that's already been in the doors before. What I mean by that, there's something called the CAQ, which is customer acquisition cost, right? CAC, I'm sorry, CAC, which is a customer acquisition cost. How much it costs you to get a customer walking into that door. Now, if you're doing, you know, old traditional mail, newspaper ads, right? You're paying, let's say, $400 a month, right? It's going to be spread out to, let's say, 50,000 copies of that local newspaper. There's no way of tracking that. So it basically costs you $400, and if one customer comes into that for that whole month, that customer costs you $400 to walk in that door, because there's no tracking involved with old school or traditional methods. So what happens is, when you're doing email sequence for a repeat customer, they already bought from you, they know you, they trust you, they liked your product or service before, right? And now you can always get them back in the door, okay? You can always get them back in the door because they know you. You just send out one email, hey, I'm running a special, you know, and you know they bought a chicken sandwich from you before. You could just, hey, listen, we're running a special on a chicken sandwich. This time you get the fries for free, you know, or soda for free, or whatever it is, whatever product promotion you want to push, right? And the more engagement I get, like I'm using a restaurant because that's what I'm comfortable with. But if there's any other business that you want me to implement my talking, right? Please do not hesitate to just shoot out a message to me, so we could I could switch that over, right? Give me a second. Yep, Kobe Bryant died. He was killed in a helicopter crash. So sorry, guys. Sad news. Great player. Okay. Let's go back to the topics. Right? Give me a second. Okay, re-engagement. Okay. Another thing is that once you have these platforms up and ready, right? I'm going to show you autoresponders for email marketing is Aweber. You want to use that. MailChimp, Constant Contact, Build-A-Wall, and ClickFunnels. These are number 4 and number 5 is something you might want to reconsider. Like, reach out to me and we'll talk about that even further. If you already know what they are, or you want to learn more about them because you've heard about them, just message me and we'll talk about that. All right, next thing is something called press releases. Press releases, they do immaculate. It's as long as you have those platforms ready, right? Those three things ready, right? So you got your website ready, you got your social media platforms ready, and you have your email autoresponders, right, ready and in play. Then you could do something called a press release. A press release is basically it's an article that is written by you or for you, right? To promote a product or service or tell something about your business that's newsworthy, right? That, creates a lump in your, throat. It tugs at the heart. It's emotional, right? Stuff like that will get the most, and this is how people become viral, right? A press release is usually an article. For example, I remember we ran a press release for the restaurant, my father's restaurant, right? And what we did was basically, I don't know if you guys remember, but the TSA, they had this strike, or they were, oh yeah, the government shut down. The government shut down, and basically the TSA wasn't getting paid. And we, being a very local restaurant that's very active in the community lifestyle, we went and basically we took food from the restaurant and we dropped it off to JFK, which is John F. Kennedy Airport in New York, right? It's one of the busiest airports in the world, right? And we fed a good amount of TSA agents, right? Because, we knew what they were going through. We know the struggles that they were not paid for like 4 weeks, and New York, living in New York is sometimes it can get hard. So basically what we did is we took food for them to the TSA, and while we were there, giving out food, people are taking pictures. The social media is there. People on social media is there. So, they're taking pictures. They're Snapchatting. They're Twittering. They're Facebooking. They're Instagramming. Whatever they got to do, right? So we took those pictures, right, and we went ahead and we did a press release. That press release gained us traction to our website phenomenally. Like, after that press release, ABC News, I think it was Channel 2 News or Channel NBC News or ABC News, I forget which one, they came to the restaurant to get an interview and why we did what we did, right? Again, these small little things, right? You always want to use them as a ploy in your business to leverage those tools and things that you can do, right? Basically, a press release is basically an article that's distributed to an organization where multiple columnists or writers, they have access to your article, and what they do is basically they know, oh wow, this person did good in this community. Let me write you take that small little article, you submit a small little article, and then a reporter or somebody from the media, right, is going to write a bigger report on that, and they basically come out and they inquire more about what you did and why you did or who you did it for. All right. Another important topic is search engine optimization. I really don't like this but it's very key, and it's definitely necessary for all businesses. Okay, search engine optimization. Basically, search engine optimization is putting relevant keywords, right, all across your website and your social media platforms. Basically, what you're trying to do is anything that people could be searching for in Google, right? Let's say you're doing a red white hat. I mean, a red big hat. Actually, that's a bad example, but okay. Big blue book by a person's name, right? By an author. Big blue book by, right? So big blue book, right? By author. Those are keywords, right? So whatever your keywords, whether it's a product, let's say it's a product, it's a computer. So you're going to want to put all the specifications in there. Okay, this is how much RAM it has. This is how much memory it has. The more detailed you are on your website, right? And your pictures are worded correctly. Like, let's say you have a picture up. You know how you put up a picture, and then you'll notice that when you're uploading a picture to Facebook or you're downloading a picture from Facebook, right? It has all those words, like all those letters and words and keywords. You want to eliminate that. You want to use what the picture is actually relevant to, right? So if you're showing a big blue book, right, in your picture, make sure the picture that you put up there is big blue book. You understand? So you want to be consistent across the board on all platforms, right? This can get very tedious. It could get very, you know, you're searching for keywords that might not exist, or I mean, you're trying to find them to exist, right? And what you're basically assuming what the consumer is looking for. You're assuming what the consumer is looking for and searching for. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're assuming the consumer is searching for your product or service using these terms, okay? If that makes sense to you, right? So most people who run websites have a limited understanding of SEO, so you often need to get the basics right to succeed. In this section, you learn the 5 fundamental steps to SEO: how to figure out what your customers are searching for, how to optimize your web pages for your target keywords, how to make sure your website is accessible to both search engines and humans. Again, you're trying to figure out what your consumer, you're assuming what your consumer is looking for. And I try to keep this as jargon-free as right. And then, right, we are going to, what are they searching for? How do you figure this out? The best starting point is to use common sense. Imagine that you run a hotel in Dublin, Ireland. It doesn't take an SEO genius to guess that customers are probably searching for things like hotels in Dublin, right? Exactly. Hotels in Dublin, place to stay in Dublin, accommodation in Dublin, right? Or Airbnb in Dublin, or room for rent in Dublin. It could be so on, so on, so forth. It could be so many different words to the same meaning. Do you understand? So that's what basically SEO does, right? You're creating pages, create content that aligns with search intent. Use short descriptive URLs, right? So basically, you're using your URLs as the big blue book, right? It should be, make sure that it corresponds to the picture, right? So your keyword, it corresponds with the picture, and you should get optimize your images, use headers and subheaders to create logical structure, right? Again, when you get to this point, I could refer you to somebody, or we could make that happen for you if you want. Or if you need some more info on it, I could definitely direct you guys to more information, right? Make sure your website is accessible to both search engines and humans. Make sure your website loads fast. That's ultimate key. Key number one, you have to have a fast website, because we living in the millennial generation, right? 140 characters is even too much. 140 characters are too much now, right? We have short attention spans. If the website doesn't load in like 2 seconds, we're gone. You lost that sale, or you lost those eyes. So make sure your website loads fast, right? Make sure your website is mobile friendly, right? Going back to the websites, right? Because this all has to do, majority of digital marketing is with the website. Make sure your website is mobile friendly. 95%, I think, of some weirdly high number, like I think it's 84%, right? People use mobile phones, smartphones, or tablets to view your website, right? You want to make sure you have a SSL security certificate established. You want to create a site map, basically a map that tells Google where everything is located, right? Or upload a robots.txt file again, right? These whatchamacallit. Now we could get into ads, right? Organic versus paid. Organic is a lot cheaper because it's free. Basically, you're doing the manual outreach, and then you can go the paid route, right? Google Ads, Google AdWords is the one. Google Ads can show on both desktop and mobile devices when you use display ads, when you're using device target to target only smartphone or tablet users. Again, this can get very detailed, right? You're doing a lot of stuff. So now what you're doing is you're creating content, you're creating images, you're creating images for yourself or your client, right? And basically promoting a product or service through an image, video, descriptive text, descriptive caption, right? And basically promoting that, assuming the consumer is looking for you, right? And and targeting them, right? So there's different kinds of ads that you could do, right? You could do native ads, into full screen ads, banner ads, in-stream video ads, and reward video ads. There are multiple platforms to do ads on. You could pay for YouTube ads, right? So your video, you know how before you watch a YouTube video, it says, hey, watch 5 seconds of this video, right? And sometimes, right, you'll see a local business on there that's very local to you because they went out and had somebody pay, right? I mean, all the big businesses like Netflix and they obviously are targeting you all the time, but you once in a blue moon, right, you see somebody, and if you do it properly, right? So let's say I'm in New York, right, and I'm promoting a cheeseburger in New York, right, and my YouTube video ad of a cheeseburger comes in front of everybody that's in that area, is going to make a bigger impact than I'm a smaller company, right, promoting on YouTube, right, which is a giant platform, right, promoting a burger that's within 3 miles away, right? So that's going to have a bigger impact, right, to your local consumer, right? So you could do basically these. I'm going to break down what places you could have ads on. Okay, you have Google Ads. That's on your Google page. You know, give me a second. See, okay. Anything that says ad is an ad, right? So Applegate, that's an ad. This is known as a 3-pack, right? So you're deciphering Google Ads, okay? You see over here, I'm going to show you a tip, right? I have this other software installed over here, right? This is for keywords, okay? So if I typed in burgers, this gave me the keyword homemade burgers. Angus, see, this is what I mean by when you're doing SEO. These are the keywords that I can relate to. A burger can relate to these words, you know, if I wanted it to. And the more I search, the better it would be. Related keywords, right? So burger recipe, best burgers in Manhattan, burgers near me, types of burgers, tasty burgers, homemade burgers, how to make delicious burgers, super juicy, right? Again, it all depends on how you want to target people and how and when you want to do it. Okay, so yeah, there's Google Ads, right? So Google Ads, that would be over here. You would be up, there's usually an ad up here. There's a couple of ads in between here somewhere. Yeah, so okay, Google. Now, another one that people tend to forget, Bing. Bing is another search engine, right? So they got Bing ads. You could put it on Bing, right? Burgers, same thing, right? Oh, I have my ad blocker on. Oops. on all sites. So you could do Bing ads, right? Bing. You could do YouTube. You could do YouTube ads, right? You could do ads on YouTube. You could do ads on Snapchat. You could do ads on, you can spread out your ads on Snapchat, Waze. You could do any platform that has a decent audience attraction, that has a good amount of user database, right? You could probably push out your ads to, okay? Yes, they can get expensive. There's ways to do it. There's ways to train your website to learn who's coming from where and how are they coming there and what, all that stuff, right? YouTube ads, okay. I personally love organic outreach because I like to take advantage of my email list, increase your social media presence. I write about stuff or like that I like to write about, or I like to talk about, right? So if I have something that's going on my brain about digital marketing, or I don't like something, or, you know, and I write about it, awesome. Video content, broadcast live video, use influencer marketing, right? This is basically, hey, you have somebody in your area that has a great Instagram audience or Instagram following. I love using Instagram influencers, right? But they do have some kind of attitude sometimes because they think they can have they have 3,000 followers, right? So basically you want to go out and you want to basically, again, I'm going to talk about a restaurant, you know, you go find your local influencer that has about 3,000 to 5,000 following, go talk to him, send him a message, be like, hey, what's up, bro? Or, you know, you want to come by and for a free cheeseburger, right? Yeah, I'll come by for a free service. It costs you $5-7 for a cheeseburger. He's gonna take a picture of it. They're gonna take a picture of it on their Instagram. They're gonna post it up here, you know, and boom. That's out of that 3,000 people, let's say 30 people. That's less than 1%, right? 1%, less than 1% of those 3,000 followers came in through the door because this guy, right, took a picture of your cheeseburger locally, right? And he just tagged your restaurant in it. Boom. You know, how much was your cheeseburger? Like, let's say $15 if you have an amazing cheeseburger, right? But that $15, or you paid for him and his friends, but with like I say, each one got a cheeseburger. 3 people came in, $30, $45, right? But you got, because of him, because of that small influencer, right? You got 30 other people coming into your restaurant or coming into your business or whatever it is. Again, it all depends on what kind of business you're into, right? Broadcast live videos, this is stories, right? Keep people behind the scenes, show them what you're doing, how you're doing it, produce video content, pictures, keep active. More active you are on your social media platforms, the better it's going to be. The more, like I said, they're trying to bury you, you have to like basically fight your way out to the top, right? Leverage long tail SEO. Basically, the more descriptive you are about your website or your product or service, the more people will find you, right? Ultimate guides. Basically, if you're writing guides before you're a makeup artist, you know what I'm saying? Is it's like, oh, why did you use what is it called? Why do you use YSL versus, you know, foundation versus, you know, Maybelline? You understand? So if you give me ultimate guides and why you use it, how you used it, you know, what skin, whatever more, if you write about it, right, you're putting in more words that people can find you, right? Buying traffic, right? Write a high quality guest post, create a free giveaway worth wanting. This is freaking phenomenal. You know, we just for the restaurant that I was promoting again for Super Bowl, we not only, and then when you combine a couple of these things together, right? You create a whole different beast, okay? So imagine you create a free giveaway, you hire a local influencer, right? Or create a free giveaway, right? Use influencer marketing, and you do a live video, and you record that video so you could use it next time, right? You just added 1, 2, 3, right? And then you're being descriptive about the caption. Let's say another 4. And once you add all of these together, you create a whole different beast. So now you just went from just a create a free giveaway, and then you say, oh, tag 3 people, or tag 2 people, or tag 1 person. You don't want to keep it too hard. You don't want to make people jump through hoops, you know, to get your product or service. You just want to make it very easy, fast, and efficient. So you add 3 or 4 of these things together, and boom, right? You are gonna, you know, you're gonna hit your mark. You're gonna hit your mark really well, right? And then if you add a little bit of advertising and you throw some money into a Facebook ad, right, to your audience in that 3-mile range, boom, even better. All right. So you just showed them, wow, you know, they know you because of the influencer marketing, right? They like you because of that influencer marketing. You brought the videos. They like your video. They like what you're talking about. They like the product or service that you're promoting, right? So it's a win-win for everybody. Okay. A brief diagram. Okay. So, you know, times are always changing, right? The internet's always changing. What's here today, what might not be here tomorrow. What's here tomorrow, what might come tomorrow, we might not even see. All that stuff, all that good stuff, right? You just have to be on top of it. You know, it is your business. It is your livelihood. And basically, if you are a brick and mortar location, right, and you want to just create another avenue of extra income from the same location. It's like basically selling the same product in 2 different places, right? At the same place. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. You're basically creating another income from the same business, right? So if that's how you want to look at it, right? Because everything is it's like basically having 2 registers for the same business. Okay. One of our biggest challenges as digital marketers is traffic. Traffic is key word over here. Okay, those are your eyes. Those are the people, right, that are coming to you. That's why you have to highlight, showcase, and be active on your Facebook social profiles. You have to have people passing by your showcase. The more people passing by your showcase with those cookies and baked cakes and stuff, the better it's going to be for your business. Because the more people that pass by means that more people will buy. You know what I'm saying? How can we easily and affordably get people's attention and push them to our websites and convert them to subscribers and customers? That is our goal. That's what we try to do, right? Is basically we want, right? Digital marketing, it's not like how it used to be a couple of years ago where, you know, you threw money and boom, you know, you were sitting, you threw a little bit of money and, you know, you found gold, right? It's not like that anymore. Traffic is a lot harder. People have wisened up. You know, they know that everybody's trying to sell something. So everybody who's trying to sell something, there's people, okay, he's trying to sell me something, they're going to be reluctant, right? So it's much harder to break that barrier. But, you know, you just keep consistent, do what you have to do, you know, go out of your way to promote your product in a non-salesy way, right? Emphasis on non-salesy way. It's going to be better for you. Bet ad sources for digital marketing. Facebook is still number 1. You see that? Facebook is still number 1. This is okay. So this is February of 2016. Okay, Statista. Right? Facebook is number 1. Google Sites and all others. Okay, I still think Facebook, Instagram is still number one, and Google Sites is number two, right? Yeah, that's it, guys. I hope this was I know I went over time a little bit, but I hope I covered most of what I had to do. I'm gonna open up this chat. I'm gonna unmute everybody, right? And some insights or questions, and we'll keep 5-10 minutes for questions. Okay. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
This is Hussein. I have a question about. Firstly, do you recommend?
Oh, Mama, hello.
Sorry,
Mama, I think someone's already picked me up.
I think somebody is talking.
Okay.
So, Brother Wakar, if you can, and can maybe just unmute me, mute everybody else.
Yeah, got it. Go ahead.
All right. So my question is, for a small business owner, it's not easy, obviously, to do what you're suggesting to do. I guess that's where people like you come in, right?
Correct.
Or do you suggest hiring? I don't exactly know what services you provide, because I probably missed the initial few minutes of your presentation. But how is your take on some people suggest hiring freelancers and stuff?
Okay.
What do you think is a pro and con of that?
Okay. The best thing I could tell you about freelancers is that once you know about them and how to use them, they can be a great asset to your business. But just to, especially freelancers overseas, right? They're very difficult to work with. I've had like many good experiences and bad experiences, but the bad experiences were more than the good experiences. But those good experiences that I did have are still lasting, if you understand what I'm saying.
Right.
Right. So it's basically you have to treat them like a baby, teach them exactly how you want everything to be done, right? And basically go from there, right? Because these guys, right, they only know what to do one thing, and that's follow instructions. And you have to know the instructions to give it to them. You understand what I'm saying? So
right.
There are some pros. If you want something quickly done, yeah, they're great. But if you want something more in detail and in depth, right, you might want to consider, somebody local or in your household or in your thing. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But
okay.
There's very good places. I mean, I'm planning to have a workshop on how to hire freelancers. I have templates and stuff like that. I think definitely, if you're interested, we could definitely go about that in another class or another webinar.
Okay.
And there's a couple of different platforms that we could target also. You understand? So there's you probably heard of Fiverr. There's Upwork, Freelancer. There's a couple of them, right? So.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? I'm gonna unmute everybody else.
Thank you. I've been looking for it.
I have a question.
Yes. Hi.
Hi. So I know that from what it seems in the past hour and a half, is that like your main experience is like with like business to consumer marketing, but my struggle right now is business to business, and how, of course, like digital marketing is very broad, but when it comes to content on various social media platforms, how do you even navigate trying to get leads when you're B2B like company? Does that make sense?
Okay, so when you're a business-to-business person who's trying to promote services, you just gotta consider you just gotta basically target business owners, correct?
Yeah.
Or a person who is the decision maker, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what you're trying to do. Now, how do we do that? Again, keywords. If you're doing a website, you want to do keywords for people looking for your business,
SEO,
right? Yeah. SEO wise, or if you want, then there's a alternative, which is basically Facebook ads or Instagram ads, right? That is putting your product or service, right, in front of the decision maker, right?
Okay.
Right. So basically, let's say you're doing, business to business phone sales or VoIP sales. Okay.
Sure.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to hit every single business instead of hitting every consumer,
Yeah.
right, in my area. I'm going to try to hit every business in my area. So that
Okay.
that demographic is going to be a lot smaller, but it's much
Yes.
more, lucrative also.
Right. And another thing that I've been struggling with is like how would you provide value when it comes to trying to build a relationship with your client and not like, I don't know, like not keeping it so like salesy,
Okay.
but just trying to build a reputation like via like all online.
Okay, all online, right? So,
Yeah.
manual outreach is one of the best. Hey, I'm here to help you. Just give me a call
Yeah.
whenever you want. You need any
Mhm.
explanations? Hey, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to, reach out
Yeah.
to me, right? Any questions that they have that doesn't take too much of your time, all right? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just want to be as open as possible, right? Just tell them basically what to do, but just don't tell them how to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right?
Right.
It's weird, but it works. Tell them what to do, but don't tell them how you do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions? I hope I answered your question, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool.
And like from my understanding, I found that like LinkedIn may be the better choice when it comes to
Yes.
B2B,
Yeah,
right?
business to business. LinkedIn
Yeah.
is the choosing method platform
Okay.
for business to business a lot, because
Right. Right.
there's a lot of people, decision makers on LinkedIn. That's basically LinkedIn is like is the Facebook for the corporate world. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I mean, especially let's say, I mean, then there's other ways. Okay, like I have this one tool, right? That could help in you're doing the outreach by email or by the chat, or sending the messages on LinkedIn.
Oh, on LinkedIn, actually right now, my company outsources to another like marketing company. So like we're actually thinking of in the few months rolling out our own campaign and whatnot. So that's why I'm trying to figure out how it
Awesome.
goes. Mhm.
So I mean, like I said, every business is different. The more I know about your business, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like the more
Right.
I could delve into it. But
Right.
with the short amount of time that we have,
Mhm.
we could always schedule that out if you want.
Right.
Reach out
Right.
to
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
and
Sure.
we can have that going.
Yeah.
Any
Awesome.
other questions?
Not on my end.
Not
Thanks.
yet. All right, guys. I hope this little meeting we had was beneficial to you guys. I hope you guys learned something. If you didn't, that's awesome. That's great. It was enjoyable, and hopefully we could do it again. If anybody has any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always reach out to me, right? And I will be doing other courses like this where today was just a broad overall synopsis of what we're trying to achieve. But we could go into like, hey, listen, I would go into like how to build a website or how to optimize your your social media platforms and what keywords are you looking for, and we could do all of that too in one of the future events. Another thing, oh yes, I forgot. If you have a local business, if you are a local business and you are not set up on one of these platforms, I highly, highly suggest you get on it as soon as possible. It's actually called, it's by Google. It's called business.google.com, okay? You want to go to this website, right? And basically it's called Google My Business. You want to be your business should be listed on this platform at all costs, right? So they have a manual verification process where they actually send you a business card in the mail, right? So you definitely want to get on this platform, right? Google, you know, Google being Google, how big and important they are, especially in the digital marketing space, right? This is highly suggested for you guys. All right. Another tip or trick I want to leave you guys on, if you guys are a small business just starting up, right? I'm going to give you or e-com, and everybody has a difficult time creating names and email names to be consistent with across all platforms. I'm going to give you guys the website. It's called noam.com, right? So basically, you can check. First of all, right, these are social media platforms, right? And basically, you can enter any name you want and see if it's available on the platforms. So just Daisy Spice, I was looking at it for this meal prep person on Instagram. So she's like, oh, I wanna name my Instagram handles Daisy Spice. So we did a quick search for her. WordPress wasn't available, you know, Facebook wasn't available, Buzz, you know, and Pinterest wasn't available. So basically she picked a name that wasn't available on a lot of social media platforms. And basically, you know, she went from going from Daisy Spice to another handle. But yeah, so this is another one of those things that you might want to look into. And if you do find one, right, that's I would focus on the top 5, which is basically Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and Pinterest and Quora. Okay, so those are my top seven, right? Top 7 platforms that you should be on at least, right? That's that. All right. If we don't have any other questions or any other concerns, I would like to conclude this call. Thank you guys so much for giving me your time and patience to help you guys in any way I can. You know, you guys have my number. I'll put it in the chat. So, you know, if you guys want to reach out, thank you very much. And have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, thank
Assalamualaikum. Yeah.